Hi, I'm Uri Levine, founder of Waze and half a dozen of other startups. I will be joining you at the Smart Cloud Show 2019 in Seoul, Korea, and I'm really excited to be there. I will be speaking about passion for change, entrepreneurship, and disruption. And I heard that this is one of the biggest conferences in Korea, and I'm really excited to be there. See you there. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. I actually haven't been many times to Korea. This is my third time, and last time that I was here was at the beginning of Waze. And turns out that Waze is not that successful in Korea, and I'll maybe explain why. But I'm here to speak a little bit about passion for change and entrepreneurship, and later on discuss that with the framework of mobility. For a second, I want you to think of building a startup exactly like falling in love. So there are many ideas that you think of, and eventually there is one idea that you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to work on, right? You go to many dates, and eventually there is one date that you tell yourself, she is the one, right? Now, at the beginning, you only want to spend time with your date. You don't care about the rest of the world. You only spend time with your concept, your new venture, your new brainchild, right? And you think about it from multiple perspectives. This is the problem I'm going to solve. This is how I'm going to build a solution. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. This is the team I'm going to build until you feel confident enough. And then you go and tell your friends, this is what I'm going to build. And so Netflix is an amazing example, right? Because Netflix, the way that we know it, is only 11 years old, since 2008. But the company started in 1998, 10 years before that. And it took them a long while to figure out this value proposition that they have today. And only then they become successful and aware and so forth. So product market fit is the most critical part of all the journeys of the startups. Startups that does not figure out product market fit simply dies. And there is a very large graveyard for all the startups that failed over the years. Now, if I need to abstract what does it mean to build a startup, then I would say this is really simple, right? Think of a problem, big problem, something that is worth solving, something that the world will become a better place if we address that. Now, imagine that you're in a startup company and there are 20 engineers and there is someone that does not fit, and you know that. And the CEO doesn't do anything about it. There are only two options. Number one, CEO does not know, which means that CEO is stupid. This is not good. Number two, CEO does know and still does not make the hard decision, the right decision. That's actually even more challenging because the CEO lacks the leadership of making hard decisions. The result, by the way, is always the same. The top performing people would leave. So Waze turns out to be unsuccessful in Korea, and I'll explain that in a second why. If you're using Waze here, raise your hand. Nearly no one, right? And by the way, this has nearly never happened to me, right? Because there are about 400 million users of Waze, and there are Waze in probably in more than 100 countries. Right? So when we started, that was the map of Tel Aviv. Blank page. There was absolutely nothing on the map. And when the first driver drove, we collected the GPS data from the device, and if we draw that on the blank page, this is what we're going to get. Now, if I will take that from a lot of drivers, I'm starting to get something that looks like a map, right? If I will tell you that this is a traffic circle in the middle, it looks like a traffic circle, and it is a traffic circle, right? If I would ask you, can you tell the difference between a main road and a street, you can see the density of those and say, okay, this is Main Street, and this is regular street, right? If there is an intersection that no one is making left turn, then no left turn is allowed, right? If there is a road that there are 100 people going into one direction and no one else coming the other direction, that will be one-way street, right? So pretty straightforward. Now, if you have computer science background, then you would know that if we can describe something, we can build it. So we started and we launched the product in 2009. And at the beginning, it was actually only in Israel and it was working okay, and we actually were able to create critical mass. And then we basically say, okay, you know what? We can actually make that available everywhere. And end of 2009, beginning of 2010, we launched Waze globally, right, everywhere. You could have downloaded Waze in the beginning of 2010 here in Korea, and you could have downloaded that everywhere else. But then it was not good enough. Remember this slide? Lack of traction? This is exactly what we have experienced. It was not good enough nearly anywhere, and it was multiple iteration for us to figure out what is it that we are going to do, how are we going to fix that, right? And so we were looking at the system, we realized that it's not good enough because people really like the story, so they download the app, they try that out, and it didn't work, and they quit. And so we spoke with drivers, and they told us this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work. And we built the next version that fixes all those. And we know that this is it, and it's not. One more story, and this is a very interesting story because over the years, people, because there are 400 million users of Waze, a lot of places people are using Waze on a regular basis, and they are coming with different stories to tell me, you know, you saved me from a nightmare traffic jams, or you saved me from a speeding ticket and so forth. By the way, I did not receive a speeding ticket since 2008. And a couple of years ago, someone came to me and said, thank you, you saved my marriage. And I said, what? I said, well, because of Waze, we don't argue anymore in the car, so you saved my marriage. So I turned out to be a marriage consultant. But I think I owe the best story to my son. I have 5 kids. One of them is 21 years old, and he really likes to drive. So a few years back, I asked him to drive me to the airport. And he said, my phone is broken, I can't. And I said, what do you mean you can't? Here is the car, here are the keys, drive me to the airport. Say, no, you don't understand. My phone is broken. I don't know how to get there. So I was scratching my head for a second, and I said, you know what? I'm going to be in the car with you, and I'll tell you how to get there. And then he asked me, and how would I come back? We lose orientation, but not logic. I don't remember phone numbers anymore to the level that for 3 of my kids, the numbers are sequential. So that I remember. The other 2, I have no clue. Thank you.